At committee level, I know how you all can be. There is, however, well, first of all, I was just in Starbucks on, like, I don't know, I call it NSA feed, security camera from Stop and Shop or Starbucks. I don't know who has the license for it. And tonight, I don't have my mask. I'm sorry, I don't have my scarf. The dryer now broke in Linda's house. So the motherboard burnt out, so she tells me. I have the mask, but the mask keeps going in every time I breathe, and I'm like, it's hard to speak. But anyway, so I was telling the gentleman, I said, have you ever heard of Occam's razor? And he said, no, what is that? I said, well, it's like what I had just said, I said, it's kind of cutting through, I didn't use the word minutia, but that's a good word to use. It's cutting through, like, and I did say to him, I said, if you do peace treaty work, it's like, I'm talking apples, you're talking oranges. Can we agree on a banana? I mean, like, that's, you bring it down to, like, you take the anger out of the conversation by coming to a resolution as to what makes you so angry and what is stopping you from being useful and productive. I was like, it's kind of taking a razor blade to whatever's holding you back and bringing everything, and then I put my two hands together and say namaste. But normally I can't do that because I have one hand holding the phone. All right, so that's that. I did, by the way, I mean, I've met a lot of lawyers on Long Island. None that I mean, I've taken cards of lawyers. I wouldn't know what to do with you all. But again, I always come in my, like, Dollar General clothing of trying to make a living as a prisoner of your war, and holding up your constitution, but then you not giving me what I need in outer Tartan area. So, and that leads to another conversation. However, there was one specific meeting. I don't remember what, it could have been Maria's closing. I'm not quite sure. Asaf German, ASAFGERMAN, who was there. Not a poster kid for Hitler's youth camp and extra special, one male, one female, and we don't want to upset any of the other earthlings or humans at any level, based on what you all have been interpreting that I get the Adolf Hitler. Oh, he was really evil in America, according to all of the children that were stealing from the children that they were lying to about just how evil Hitler was. But anyway, they don't have any war info here, smart at all. So anyway, so he was not Niklaus and he was not Nicole. So you realize that somewhere in the world, like, my script, Linda told me, when her mouth opened as a lambda interference, like somebody's interfering with her lambda machine, and she has no safety of a soul. When she would open her mouth, she just moves. She's just a moving flesh bag. That's it. I was okay with that. I knew what was going on. I just wanted rescue. Lose the same way. But let's think about this. She said to me that my story was, she was watching a soap opera. There was a blonde angel named Nicole, and there was a dark-haired devil woman named Raven. And there was the good and the bad, and they kind of fought with one another, and so that she wanted to name me Nicole Raven. Now, Raven in Odin territory, in the Norwegian, in the Dothraki, the real Dothraki, which are the warships of the Norse, I believe, is what we said, although I don't know why Sumer, it keeps taking all of the fun names away from the people they belong to, but whatever. I'm not getting into the minutia. So let's think about this. So I've gone by Nikki, not as much. Lewis calls me Nikki. But in the most part, I say Nicole because Linda used to get really mad. And then I said, how about Raven? And I think one person called me Raven once, and then my mom's like, only Nicole lives here. I don't know who that is, and she hung up the phone. That was the blue phone on the cord at 631-692-4388 back in the day. So I was at 3 Glenway, Cold Spring Harbor, New York. All right, so we've got, right, today, by the way, I saw the most interesting mixture. It is like walking in a forest and admiring the foliage. That's really what I feel like walking around humans is supposed to be. Like the artwork that you woke up in. Unfortunately, the artwork has not been. I mean, how many years can you look at the same painting? I mean, it gets really boring. But so today I saw a color hair. I don't know, and again, I don't know. Like, are you going goth? But it was a like a charcoal underneath, and then it had this like orange hue, like a pumpkin orange hue on top of the dark charcoal. It was the most interesting look. I just had to stop and look for a minute. I was just like, that looks like a maple leaf of some sort, but not the red maple. It looks like the orange maple, which there's a difference with Charlie Brown and the Great Pumpkin Factory. Then there in the confusing spracha of one woman. I think that ties back to the pomegranate. Right. Oh, here's the thing. The extra special genetic that I call a tomato and eggplant because I'm in Judith's kitchen when I'm little doing spracha work with the spiritual council, not to upset them because apparently they brought to this life angry, political spracha that I was fully unaware of because nobody was teaching me militia, guerrilla warfare in Judy's kitchen. Nobody was talking about people in motherland and mother tongue Russia. Nobody knew Yiddish. Nobody knew why people might not like Yiddish people or the mother tongue of Russia. Nobody knew why Koreans' money market is called the Nikkei. And why they worship an idol of a cat and the taste of 3 because they taste God and in their Nikkei market, which is what I am as the apple. Oh, by the way, there was a ghost conversation recorded. I had said to some of my spiritual advisors on the phone, I said, could you do me a favor so we can weed out some of the sleeves that want better in the next life to have a genetic child that is spiritually in tune with the cosmic verse. If you could have your next gens and your last gen, like Linda and Lou's age, because I could never get them to do it. Maybe have a spiritual conversation in the mirror with themselves about what they're experiencing as a spiritual being on Earth. But you don't have to tell your friends about it because I know some of you, your friends would be like, you had spiritual conversation. Oh, you're always smoking, drinking. Right, yeah, no, we don't want to embarrass ourselves in public. That's why we have a face-to-face with ourselves. I said, and this way it also helps me keep a record of who is in ghost house records for the spiritually aware and helpful, and then where the sleeves are lying in the midst of it all. The tune, and also if you can't find a reporting agency to collect these records for you, start having a mirror conversation with yourself in your own eyes, in your own tongue, in your own language. So this way you can report also, if you're reporting to the authorities, that's great, that needs to be done, but also report to yourself the change. So this way I have a documented paper report and your document of what day and time in whatever era you are waking up in one loop. So I know if there are people missing, if there's things that are changing and you're waking up like I did in a whole nother painting. So there's cross-reference for me for what I'm going through and experiencing while I'm waiting to just be sent to the Citadel Citrus as his apple. So there was a Asian girl, Jenny, I think I've mentioned her before, who came to 43rd Avenue. She was not there when I was born. She was born somewhere else. But she had a paper, and there was an interview between her and I, and a quiet personal interview for herself where she did report in for her authorities, which I appreciated, that I had the apple eye thing, that I had a soul. It was not Seoul, Korea, however, that was one of the Sprotcha problems, along with the Adam and Eve in the Christian Bible belonging to me and my betrothed. Before a device named an apple might hit the market, we were hoping not to have these devices or oh wow, that's interesting, these devices or this next revolution of problems. We were hoping that we could go, we had beepers for doctors and lawyers who were really important that found payphones, and that was one thing. We really did not need everybody walking around with their own dedicated phone number and more number alphanumerices and timing issues in the operator of the universe and so on and so forth, because it only makes more fighting and it makes more complicated. But so she reported in that she met me. I was the cat. I was the tartar. I was the tartan. I was the woman with the clock that the others were mentioning quietly, just for the spiritual that they could not war with. She was trying to prevent her people in wherever she woke up, or whatever they're calling themselves outside once this is over. I think she called herself a Korean, but again, I don't want to mix her Korean with the New York residents of 2020. So let's see. So she was saying that, so she was reporting into her people. You got to remember, as Caesar, as Tsarina of the Papal States. I mean, I'm Zoroanthro. I'm the Anthros of Zoro. Zoro, by the way, is I know that people say it's Sumer, Sumer. Thing is that Niklaus Hitler and Tsarina Nicole Katarutsa were born in the summer season, the season of summer, Seasonsusummer. He on one side, I on the other. And inside of that vehicle that we left in ancient Druidic, like runic, which is now in a different area that we might have gotten displaced from, but they kept the artifacts, and may have copied in their own image, which they've done throughout history, time and space. I know the Zoroanthro, he looks like he has a beard down and then it's wavy. Here's the thing, that gets confusing to the Middle Easterners of what this modern version of human. They seem to want to claim that and the Vlad from the Impaler file of Dracula in Transylvania, in Transylvania. That for me is not okay because, the real true story of Citadel Citrus and his apple of his eye, who is the biblical return of the couple, is he's a hairless breed in the sense of not on his head, but he doesn't have, I know some holy men, their beard is everything, and I don't want to take that from them. That is their specific special. However, my specific special and preference is that he is hairless, and I for he the same, except on the head where he has full head of hair, as a handsome man, and it comes in like a carp, Prussian carp, like silvery gold color, and then it also comes in a pomegranate I call it plum, Plum, the dark, deep red with like a charcoal underneath with like a deep red, like a, yeah, it's like a plum or a pomegranate. And that is also a very rare, but their skin is very, very white, as is mine. It's just this camera does not pick up the correct coloring.